Okay, sorry, tough day. So when I get stressed like that, I feel like my face just gets a little weird. So I'm not really sure what is going on today. I was listening to one of my favorite readers, Spiritual Sag. And I hesitate to bring that up because I'm still undecided about my avenue with, do I come out and talk about being a targeted individual? How do I do that? What is my presentation? Because, I think that one of the things that I said in one of my videos was we really have to present ourselves better, right? Like we have to be like them. And when I say that, what I mean is, the super professionals and the more intellectual classes, we have to mirror those images in order for them to listen to us. And in all honesty, I'm such a huge fan of Annie Jacobson, and she's such an amazing journalist. But it's also at the same time, like when you're getting attacked by these energy weapons and you're hearing her speak enthusiastically about these people that work at DARPA or worked at DARPA and CIA and these projects. But at the same time, she really does question the effects of all of these things and all the declassified information. And, it was weird because I love listening to her. But at the same time, when you're going through certain things and then you hear her sort of be enthusiastic, you're like, oh, come on, lady. But at the same time, I think we need to understand that, like, I believe in God, so I'm just going to say it's like, well, we all have our purpose and our place. And I really believe that she's giving scientific evidence and proof. She's the man who created these directed energy weapons. His name is, look at that. My brain's going to start going now. I think Charles H. Towne. I think that's it. But anyways, I think that we have to mirror those types of people in order to be heard. Because the kind of people that can help us, that's sort of how they carry themselves. And that's just always been the way that it is. So it's funny that I go back and forth about sort of revealing other parts of myself that are very authentic. And, it's complicated because on the one hand, it's like I don't want to ostracize myself or other individuals who could relate to me through some of those pathways that I feel help me, right? But it's also like, well, this is also very serious and we have to take it very serious. So what are the rules? And really there are none. I mean, even the lawsuits and the representatives and all of that stuff, like with Havana syndrome, I mean, even our men and women within our Congress are probably good, honest people who are getting attacked. And CIA and the FBI and our Congress, they're getting attacked with these energy weapons. And even like, where are they getting to? Now, the good news is that if they retire because of the kind of work that they did, and probably they're married and they have family and they have support, it's like, well, unfortunately, they can't really do the thing that they love to do, but at the very least, they'll have financial support throughout the rest of their lives. So it doesn't matter. I think that when you're a high functioning person and you really want to do the things that make you passionate and you can't do it anymore, it's relative, to being in poverty, because that's what gives you life. That's what gives you energy. And so I do recognize that, but also at the same time, it sucks for the rest of us who are getting hit with these things. And it's sort of like, they're sort of expecting to destroy us. They're expecting to just take us down, take us apart, and whatever it is they're trying to extract or get from us, or whatever they're trying to learn through these experimentations. Of course, whatever the end goal is, it also has something to do with completely destroying our reputations and our lives. Because they don't want the people within these communities to come together, And I went down the rabbit hole, and I say this, I hesitate to say this, but I'm going to say this. I went down the rabbit hole with some of the target individuals. I didn't go that deep down it, but with the exception of the guys who were scientists, CIA people like that, like some of the other artists, it made me nervous. because some of how people are presenting themselves, it's like very, very out there. And certainly I I'm an artist, I'm a singer, I can be very, very out there, but at the same time, even I question who within these communities are actually targets. Is it a possibility that a lot of people within these communities, and I hesitate to say this because I don't want anybody feeling pushed out. They shouldn't be pushed out. They're part of this. And I think, in all honesty, even just the high levels of radiation that are coming off of, or the radio frequencies, and what that is doing to the planet, what it's doing to the animals, and what it's doing to the people, that in and of itself should be a big lawsuit. This is a problem. Our technology advancing the way that it is has not been helping us. It's destroying us. It is fascinating as technology is, and as much as I have certainly benefited from it, like many of you, it's like there comes a point where you have to recognize when something is also significantly destructive. I mean, people can't even think for themselves anymore. There is no true deep human connection or understanding of how to talk with other people or handle things or handle conflict. And certainly all of the stuff that's happening, where it seems to be leading us to is, well, humanity, you guys just can't think for yourselves, you can't speak for yourselves, everything you say and do is offensive to others. You know what, you guys just need to stop and let AI and let the intelligence community be the ones that direct your lives. And all the rest of you who have an issue with it, well, we've got a place for you. And I do think that many of the targeted individuals, I was listening to, one of my tarot readers that I love listening to, Spiritual Sag, and she's been talking a lot about the targeted community and how she's been going through it too. And that makes perfect sense to me, that people who are very intuitive are getting attacked and getting gang stalked and having these things happen. But it also makes a lot of sense to me too that that there could be a large number of people within these communities that maybe they're not being directly attacked, but that their high levels of sensitivity is making them go through a lot of negative, issues, mental issues, emotional issues, because of the high levels of radiation, the radio frequencies, and what that does to the body. So I don't want to get too complicated about that. But again, I have a lot of questions. I want to know what is what, and I want to know who is who. I know that this is happening to me. And I know because I got proof with all the drones following me and with the military drones popping up one day, and all of that. And it is just a lot. So I have way too much proof. And certainly, like I said, the goal is, I'm not an idiot. I know what the goal is here. I at least, maybe I don't know some of their individual goals, but I do understand at the end, I'm supposed to just be completely, broken down and destroyed. And that makes sense with what it is that they would leave. I think that's true for a lot of people. I don't think it's just me. So, yesterday was an interesting day, and then today was really hard. I've had to completely rearrange my life, and I had to let go of a lot of things that I loved, and I had to let go of a lot of my business that had grown to be very successful. I made a lot of money. I did very well. And then I had to downgrade everything, but even that I feel is being attacked. So I definitely had something happen today that was very triggering. And I would say, because of all of this, even though I'm working on making sure that I eat pretty healthy, I get plenty of supplements, I'm sleeping a lot better these days, and all of the things that I've learned to do to take care of my central nervous system, I'm certainly doing all those things. So I'm supporting myself as best I can, because I know that this is happening. But there's some things that are unavoidable. Like, there's certain triggers that just come and they get me. And it sucks. It really sucks. Because I think that the way that I'm feeling today, and I think what I'm going through today, I suspect is sort of some sort of act. Now, I'm not sure because I'm in a tough space, right? And to some degree, when you're in a tough space, it doesn't necessarily mean that right now at this moment that you're being attacked or that something's happening, although they do say that these systems are on 24/7, and I do think that a lot of it is run by AI. But with that said, you know, there has to be some level of discernment of going, well, wait a minute, is this like my body naturally trying to adjust to things? But either way, it's my body and my mind are constantly trying to figure out and readjust, and then I get attacked, and then I have all this stuff happen, and then I have to do it all over again. So I never really get to build back up. Like, I don't get to build my life back up. Like, it's like I can keep getting to this first step, but then something will happen and it'll take me back down. And you need to get a few of those steps to start to be able to see where it is you're going, where it is you're evolving to, and then sort of doing that internal work with yourself of going, what is the next right step? What is the next place for me to go? But I can never seem to get past that. I mean, maybe the second step, maybe. And it is very frustrating. It's very, very frustrating, and it's really, really hard. So, I mean, I do still have hope. I have hope because although like I said, I think after going through all of this stuff, I question, you know, like this kid came out and leaked all these documents, and now they're finding out all the bullshit all the propaganda that's going on with the Ukraine war. But there was a quote that he had, I screenshotted it, that he said that, you know, our intelligence community there's like a sinister force behind our intelligence community that is working really hard to suppress its citizens. And so, but again, I questioned what were the motives, who did that, why did that kid do that, did somebody put him up to it, or did he just do it, how is this being used? Because at this point, they have so much control over the board because of the level of surveillance that they have, and they're able to predict a lot of our behaviors. They're able to actually measure our brain frequencies and our brain signature. They have so much. I mean, it's like we're living in Minority Report to some degree. But unfortunately, you can tell that it's not really working in our favor, because if what they were doing was really for the people, then why are there people out here shooting up schools? Right? Like, the other question I have is with the cybersecurity and infrastructure, which was formerly a branch of the Department in Homeland Security. Some of them, it became this new thing. If that cybersecurity, right? Well, why do I hear from people that, you know, elderly are still getting scammed out of their money? They're still getting these phone call scams. They're getting these scams that are coming in from out of the country. And that's like FBI department. I'm sorry, but that's FBI department. But that's what doesn't make any sense. So there's all these new programs that have popped up to try to protect the internet and protect us on the internet. But meanwhile, our bank accounts are getting screwed with, our numbers are getting screwed with. There was stuff that happened a couple of months ago where a bunch of people were missing a lot of money. And then I believe one of the stories was one of the guys went to his bank and was like, where the hell did all my money go? And they were like, hold on, let's fix this for you. Turned the screen around, probably popped in a few more zeros for him and was like, you like that? You good with that? Everything was fine. Which that in and of itself, this is something that I've known for a long time because I've had a lot of finance clients for years who've told me money is just numbers in a computer. So, you know, but all of these programs that are popping up to protect the people, and they're able to predict behavior and predict what you're going to do through data. But then how is it possible that these kids are shooting places up? We know, those of us who are targets, who are enduring such, you know, terrible surveillance, inscrutable, just the level of bullshit that we're put through, and gaslighting, and what our bodies and our minds are being put through. It's awful, but it's because they figured us out so well that they sort of know what to do and how to do it to screw with us. And so we know that makes no sense, that they don't know the people who are truly potentially terrorists. They know by the things that the kid that shot up Highland Park, the stuff that he was looking up, the stuff that he was putting on the internet. I just found a TED talk on here about Roca. I couldn't even watch that shit. And it had to do, I started to watch something and it sounds like they're stalking like these gang people. And the way that they were doing was really crazy. So they were stalking these gang members to try to reform them, it sounded like. Now, I didn't watch it all because I was like, what the fuck? What the fuck? This is so, but look at how bad things are. So you got to question, is that really being done? Or are these TED Talks, these things popping up, or they're doing it in little pieces? And then like a grocery store, on the corner that's really a store, is like it's a front for running drugs. Is that what Roca is? Is that what some of these companies are? They're like, oh yeah, we do this little bit, because behind the scenes what's actually going on is this really awful stuff with all of this technology and all of these abilities. But we're going to steer the intellectual people to sit down and have their dinners in their beautiful homes and with their high levels of education. I probably sound very ignorant by saying that, but I'm painting a picture. And they're, oh, look at what Roca's doing. Look at what cyber. But meanwhile, they're not getting hit. They're the 1%. They're a very small percentage. And they're not. Now, again, I'm painting a picture and that's just one angle. And that's an angle that I'm thinking probably counts. However, I'm sure that there's people within the 1% that are getting hit too. And I'm sure that there's more stories here than what meets the eye. This is just me giving sort of a for example of how these companies are probably able to get away with doing what they're doing. Are they doing what they're really doing? Is there some sort of front? What the hell is happening? How come the FBI isn't doing more about fraud? How come they're not doing stuff to really truly protect people's identities online? And how come all of these shootings are happening so much when we know the targeted individuals, they know everything we do and they can predict what we're going to do before we do it? If they're able to do that to us, how come they're not using that technology to stop all the violence that's happening in this country? It's painting a really shitty picture. It's not good. And that's why I say, like, as tough as everything that I'm going through and I'm enduring is, as painful, as awful, and now I'm getting all those vibrations that are starting, as difficult as all of this is, the one thing that keeps me going is that I know that there's the one guy that works for DARPA who has been a whistleblower about Havana syndrome, and he worked with these energy weapons, and then when he found out that they were Robert Duncan, he found out that they were being used on American people, he became a whistleblower. It's like, well, we know that these things are happening. I know he said it was like 10,000 people, that he said it's at least 10,000 people that are on this list of targets that are having this happening. And it's happening all over the world. You can't escape it as long as you're under the ionosphere or the magnetosphere. It can get you. And it does have something to do with HAARP, which I did suspect. And in any case, my point is that they're able to register our minds, our frequencies. They know what the data, they're able to pick up all this stuff, and they're not doing anything about the real terrorists, but instead they're going after the people. I'm a healer, I'm a massage therapist, I am definitely a truth teller, and I am somebody who's very devoted to natural medicine, healing myself, and helping other people. And I'm getting attacked, and this is happening to me. So, and I'm an easy target considering I don't come from this big family that is super supportive and can do a lot to stop what's happening, right? So I'm an easy target. And so again, what's keeping me going is I know that there's, at least 10,000 people on this list. In addition to that, I believe that in many ways, in all countries all over, I believe that we are all essentially targets by our own government, because they don't want humans to make their own decisions anymore. They want technology, they want AI, they want this new evolution of, either transhumanism or full robotics. So if you study any of this stuff and you listen to scientists and AI people, and like I watch all this stuff. They're telling you the same thing, and these are people who have far more of an education than I do, but they're saying the same thing that I'm seeing. So I don't know. I just there's got to be something that we can do, and I'm not giving up hope. It sucks when these days hit and it's like, and I have been psychologically evaluated. The only diagnosis I have is ADHD. So I have yet to start to go get brain scans. Probably that's something I'm going to have to do to see what damage has been done to my brain. But that's very hard, and I'm just not ready for it yet. So that's all I got for right now.